All right, it's all yours.
Great. Hi, I'm Andrea, and I'm here to present on Vanguard as a company. I'd like to provide you with an overview of what Vanguard is and give you a little bit of the history of the company, and then talk about why it is so special and what its competitive advantages are. So Vanguard is a mutual fund company, and it is based in Malvern, Pennsylvania. So it's about 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. It's got about $5.3 trillion in assets under management, and it is the world's largest provider of mutual funds and the second largest provider of exchange-traded funds, with the largest provider being BlackRock. This is interesting because scratch that. Okay. I think one of the most interesting facts about Vanguard is that it was started by a man named Jack Bogle. He actually passed away earlier this year, so I think everybody is quite sad about that loss because he was such a titan in the mutual fund industry. But he was the inventor of the index fund. So he went to Princeton for undergrad, I think graduated in the 1950s, started working in the investment management industry at that time, which was really just a lot of actively managed mutual funds. And I say actively managed to mean that there was a lot of trading involved, so that there would be greater returns on the investments that clients were making. He saw an issue with that in the sense that in order to do active trades and frequent trades, there are fees that get taken out every time you do a transaction. And on top of that, there are also fees that the asset manager will take out for actively managing your fund. And so he saw that as sort of being not counterintuitive, but it sort of went against the whole purpose of asset management, which is to grow your wealth. So with the accumulation of these per transaction costs and these active management costs, at the end of the day, you might have amazing returns, but you're only taking home a small portion of that. So his idea was to create this index fund, which basically was a set of stocks that replicated certain markets, like the Dow Jones or the S&P 500. And the returns on those funds would replicate, that respective market. Mm-hmm. And so essentially, and also I think a key feature of the index fund is that investors needed to keep their money in the fund over the long term without doing a lot of active trading. That would help minimize the fees associated with trades. And it would also help them avoid making decisions that maybe were just not in the best interest of their wealth. So his whole philosophy was to keep your money in the index fund until you retire, or as long as you can, for the long term, and your funds will grow. So that was his whole philosophy. He started at, as I mentioned, another asset company or asset management company, and then founded Vanguard in 1975, and he ran it for a couple decades before retiring. And I think the way that the Vanguard mission is still carried on today is that they still provide index funds, but they also provide mutual funds and a variety of different types of services. But also, one thing that's really unique, and I think that aligns with Jack Bogle's vision, is that the company is owned by the funds that they manage. So it's not publicly traded, they're not on the stock market. Any profits that they make don't go to shareholders, it goes back into the company and back to customers. So I think that allows Vanguard to stay really, really focused on its mission, which is to serve its clients. And for me personally, I'm really passionate about financial inclusion, and so the idea of not having any sort of conflicts of interest that would, not serve your customers, and not having any sort of risk that the company is going to act in a way that maybe shifts profits from consumers to shareholders. I think that's really important. And I think it enables greater client focus at the end of the day, and it helps stay true, I think, to Jack Bogle's mission, which is to serve individuals regardless of where they are on the spectrum of wealth. So that's a little bit about Vanguard. It's why I'm excited to work there, and happy to take any questions that you have.
Great, thank you very much.
Sure.